Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Think Future. My name's Calabucas, and once again, we're coming at you live from deep in the heart of Silicon Valley, California. We're talking innovation startups of the future. Not necessarily those, and not necessarily in that order. If you're watching on YouTube, smack that subscribe button and hit that bell so you can be notified when a new show comes online. And if you're listening on your favorite podcast service, please subscribe and drop a note on Apple Podcasts at the Apple Podcast site and tell me what a great job I'm doing, how awesome the show is, if that is indeed what you think of the show. So, most of you have probably heard the maxim, if it ain't broke, don't break it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And the thing is that a lot of times when something ain't broke, the reason it's not broke is that it is a workaround. It's something that has been created to just smooth over the lumps of a process. It's more than likely something like that. In fact, if you think about coding and software, a lot of it is workarounds. A lot of it is workarounds. Is a patch here, a patch there. And sometimes you need to break things in order to make them better. In order to sort of trigger the change, something needs to be broken. And we have a perfect example right here with the pandemic, right? And telecommuting. So telecommuting has been proven, or working from anywhere, working remotely, working from anywhere, has been proven in study after study after study after study after study after study after study that it is better for the health and wellness of every worker. Every employee is better off when they work from anywhere, when they work remotely. And we have had the technology to work remotely forever. Well, forever as in 1982. In fact, there's an article, I think it was in the New York Times, they were talking about the very first telecommuter. The very first telecommuter sounded like was a receptionist or an office worker from some company in New York City, and the company paid for this individual to work from home. And I'm not sure why they paid for them to work from home, but they were able to put in a phone lines and computers and whatever else they needed to do. It was 1982, so PCs weren't around. They must have put a dumb terminal in or something like that. But we've had the ability to work from home since the 80s. We've had the ability, the technology to work effectively remote probably for almost 20 years. But most companies never did it. Up until a few years ago, everybody wanted you to come into the office. Commutes were bad. Traffic was bad. All this stuff was bad. We wasted so much time on the road in commutes. We put so much carbon monoxide into the air through driving all this time. And then all of a sudden, but for some reason, we never did anything about it. We just kept doing the same thing. Companies expected you to come in, even though the technology was there, even though everything was there. And we had all these famous companies like Yahoo and IBM telling employees that their telecommuting policy was bad and everybody would have to come back into the office because we have a lack of collaboration. But that's reverse thinking. That's backwards thinking. So we needed something to break. We needed something like the pandemic. We needed this crisis to drive us out of our offices. And once we were driven out of our offices due to this crisis, we were able to continue working out of our homes. We realized that the technology was there. I mean, maybe at first it wasn't 100% okay, but over the last 2 years, it's improved greatly. And now our technology to work from anywhere is phenomenal. And we could work from anywhere. I've said this for years and years and years. If I were to start a new company, as of 5 or 6 years ago even, if I were to start a new company, it would be 100% remote. Nobody would be working from anywhere but wherever they wanted to work. But I digress. So the thing is that we now have things better, even though there are some companies that are trying to draw their employees back in, and they're noticing that there's great resignations going on because they're trying to pull their employees back in because their employees know that they've been able to have a much better life working from anywhere than they ever had when they were commuting into an office all the time. So we needed something to break before we made it better. And unfortunately, this was something that was out of our control. The pandemic was out of our control. So we needed this crisis to come in and change things to make it better. This is something that happens to human beings all the time. Human beings are inertia machines. We just like to keep going in the same direction. We like tradition. We like consistency. We don't like change. We just want to keep things going the same way as they are. And the only thing that helps us to change is when something major happens. It's like the smoker who won't quit smoking unless he has a heart attack. Right? We need some crisis because positive stuff doesn't work. Positive stuff doesn't work for us. I mean, we can present positive stuff to people all day long and they won't change unless something bad happens. Then the change is instantaneous or almost instantaneous. Break it to make it better. Sometimes, and this is what I've said before, is that it's obvious that we need a crisis to change. Maybe, just maybe, we should be creating these crises to change. Just maybe we should be breaking things on purpose to make the change happen, to trigger the change. That's it for me for today. See you next time, and until then, don't forget to think future.